Welcome to the Wrestling Universe channel. My name is Cosk. I am joined by Tanner and Y2, and today we are going to be reviewing the AEW Dynamite 26th July 2023 episode of AEW Dynamite. I think I said that twice. But anyways, this was a pretty solid episode. It was like nothing crazy. It felt like a stopgap between Blood and Guts and the 200th episode of AEW Dynamite. So, it wasn't like a crazy episode where you have like big moments, big matches, but there was still some solid stuff on the show. We'll talk about our thoughts later on. Let's get right into the show, and we kick off with an AR Fox promo package, followed up by AR Fox versus Orange Cassidy. What did you think, Tanner, of the AR Fox promo / the match?
Okay, let me stop. So first of all, the promo gave a lot of explanation between needed explanation between the relationship of Darby Allin and AR Fox, which will come in later. The match was my personal match of the night. Absolute banger. I mean, the emotion in that match, from AR Fox at least. Orange Cassidy was showing a little bit of emotion too, shockingly. Great match.
John, what did you think overall?
Yeah, no, the video package at the beginning, I liked, the added context. Introducing the Dynamite audience, or the AEW audience, to AR Fox more, even though he's appeared, in multiple matches, just giving him that, more of a backstory. As for the match, I really enjoyed it. Orange Cassidy's been on a roll in terms of really good matches. You can name countless matches this year. I enjoyed the wrestling early. And as Tanner was saying with the emotion, I feel like some of that was AR Fox has been losing so many title matches. I think he lost like 2 in Ring of Honor. I think he challenged for the AEW Trios title. Might have challenged for the Ring of Honor Trios title. He's lost a lot of title matches.
Title too.
Yeah, and to that point, I think that plays into the story where at the end of the match, after the match was over, punching Orange Cassidy in the face, and then Darby confronting him.
2 quick thoughts that I forgot while I was saying this. So first of all, this was Orange Cassidy's 27th defense, meaning with 1 more defense, he will be tied with Roman. And I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, I'll take over.
Yeah.
So overall, I think the promo package was really good. This episode felt like a really real standout episode for AR Fox. Like, he had a big focus on this episode. Continue. Was that
I
your
remember
point?
There were a couple moments during the match where I genuinely thought AR Fox was about to beat Orange Cassidy. They made it very believable. Like, it wasn't one of those matches where it was like, AR Fox, Orange Cassidy's winning easily. Like, no, there were some moments where I thought he had it.
I remember in the Swanton, I thought that, like, when he hit that, like, beautiful Swanton, and, like, when I'm talking about the match, this match really showed how athletic AR Fox is. He's such an innovative worker. The way he moves around the ring, there was this, like, real smooth snap moonsault, like, on the outside, which was just, mwah. Like, AR Fox deserves all the credit in the world. Like, I said on Twitter, this is a sink or swim moment for AR Fox, and he swam. He did an absolutely great job. Orange Cassidy held up his own too, like, very competitive match overall. Orange Cassidy, a great worker. Every time I watch him, I think, how is this the same guy who first joined AEW? The guy who, while a great character, or a great character in some people's opinions, a horrible character in others, a very controversial character, we didn't really think he was a great wrestler until the Pac match. There's John repping the Orange Cassidy merch. And ever since the Pac match, like, we've had these spurts of moments, and this international title reign has just been moment after moment, match after match, where Orange Cassidy continues to show out. Orange Cassidy is one of the best workers in AEW, in my opinion, and this reign proves it. We're going to move on to
One more thing. About the match. When they did the double neck breaker, I don't know. For me, I like that a lot because I felt like the traditional spot is you just do the double clothesline, both are down. So I felt like it was creative.
Innovator per usual, AR Fox. We move on to the end of the match. OC would win with a. He did not win with a punch. No, OC would win with a cradle.
Oh,
And,
let's talk about after the match.
okay. And he would give his sunglasses to AR Fox, kind of like he did with Shibata. Like it's a sign of respect from OC. AR Fox didn't seem to think so. As Tanner is implying, he broke the glasses and he punched Orange Cassidy right in the face. He goes to walk out of the ring and Darby Allin confronts him and he's like, hey, what are you doing? I put my word out for you. And they kind of like argue for a bit. It feels like they're selling time, but they're kind of like selling it home. Like this is the story that you have to pay attention to. Like AR Fox now is getting a premiere story on the show, which I was a fan of. He seemed conflicted about punching him, like it was just a sign of frustration. So he's like, I don't know why I did that. And as Orange Cassidy is recovering, Jon Moxley comes out of the crowd, or at least I believe the crowd, and attacks him. So I'm going to go 2 separate questions for both of you. I'm going to start off with Tanner. What did you think about AR Fox's behavior after the match? The punch to Orange Cassidy's face and the tension with Darby Allin.
First of all, I would like to say those sunglasses were beautiful.
I agree.
Second of all, I think he sold the fact that he didn't really think about it before he absolutely rocked OC at all and was like, I don't know what I'm doing, even before Darby came out. And then, like, he had that look on his face where it looked like he was about to punch Darby right then and there, and he didn't.
He would never hit Darby Allin. Are you kidding me? Foreshadowing.
Brother.
Yeah, continue.
But yeah, he didn't hit him, and good segment.
And John, what did you think about the Mox attack on Orange Cassidy? Do you think this is going to lead to a match between them, or do you think this was just to close the door between the Ring of Honor stuff?
It's an interesting question. I would be very excited to see Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. This is a match I've always wanted to see. And then they did it, like, on a Dynamite. But, like, Moxley quickly squashed Orange Cassidy. It's not like the Cassidy we have now. Where, like, Mox had won in, like, just a very short match. Like, quick squash. It was when they were going through his heel turn. But as for if I think it will lead to a match, I don't know. Because on Ring of Honor, Orange Cassidy punched Claudio. So I think Orange Cassidy will face someone from the Blackpool Combat Club at Allin. As if that's Mox or Claudio, I guess we'll find out.
You know, Moxley versus Orange Cassidy is like a big match. Like, even if you're not a fan of either, which I know both of them have both their love, like their beloved fans, the audience who just adore everything they do, and people who really don't like them, you can't deny that this is a big match. Like, these are 2 AEW originals who never really had a proper program. They've had a match in the past, but never a proper feud to, like, sink their teeth into. And Orange Cassidy has developed a lot as a character. Now, my question is, like, it really seems to me like there's something of a match. Like, at least between the Blackpool Combat Club and Orange Cassidy in some form. But, like, this, and especially the main event, which we'll get into later, really indicates Orange Cassidy versus Moxley, because Orange Cassidy's focus has been on Jon Moxley, and Moxley's focus has been Orange Cassidy. So, do I think there's a match? Yes, I think so. I think it's going to happen at All In or All Out. Do I think Moxley's winning? I agree.
No, Moxley's not winning. No way.
I could see it. Like, Moxley is a big star. I don't really think he's going to win the AEW title anytime soon. No?
Don't get me wrong. Orange Cassidy's great and all. But please justify to me how you have Death Rider Jon Moxley lose to Orange Cassidy.
I wouldn't mind
all
that.
I'm going to say.
I would
Bro,
not mind
Moxley
that.
doesn't need, Moxley does not need the international
They
championship.
just lost in Blood and Guts. They cannot take another huge loss. That's
That-
all I'm saying.
Match. Come up with another big match.
that's-
Why is Moxley
way.
winning the mid-card belt? He can
Either way,
go
I'm
on and do something else.
because when Ring of Honor posted on their Instagram about the conclusion of Supercard of Honor, or was it Death Before Dishonor?
that before the
Death Before Dishonor.
Death Before Dishonor. I posted on my story, and I was like, honestly, Orange Cassidy is a horrible candidate to beat Claudio. And now this is happening. And I have no clue which one I'd rather see.
You know, Moxley versus Orange Cassidy is very, very interesting, and you're seeing right on this podcast the passion that this shows. It's because beating Orange Cassidy has meaning. Orange Cassidy's reign has been built up so well, one of the best built reigns in this company's history, and we've been speculating for months who's going to dethrone Orange Cassidy. Is it going to be Rush? Is it going to be Swerve? Is it going to be... I threw on the name of Bushi last week. Like, who is going to dethrone Orange Cassidy? And now Moxley is seemingly setting up a feud with Orange Cassidy, and there's pros and there's cons to this. On one hand, there's a pro in that Moxley winning this title and having a work race reign with this title is going to help build the prestige up of this title even more.
But Orange Cassidy's done 27 title defenses. How much prestige do you need?
Here's the thing.
It's not
That
like
is
the
the
guys
one reason. That is the one reason that I would willingly put Orange Cassidy over. Because I want to see him pass Roman. Just to see WWE marks get upset.
I think he's gonna pass that either way, and I don't really care about what other people think, like in terms of like their opinions. Like Roman Reigns should not defend his championship as much as Orange Cassidy.
No doubt.
Like a world champion in general. But would I be fine with... I'm quite conflicted because on the one hand, I would not mind Moxley as the international champion. I think that championship is above midcard with the reign Orange Cassidy has had. But on the other, as John has been saying, or Y2, Moxley doesn't need it, whereas a lot of people in AEW could really benefit from that international championship. Say a Rush, say a Miro.
Swerve. I think Swerve would really benefit from it.
So I think that Moxley winning it would be a good reign for Moxley, but I think it wouldn't be best for the title in the sense that you could really put over a star by beating Orange Cassidy. Moxley does not need to be put over by Orange Cassidy. Moxley's a big star, whereas Orange Cassidy, he's like whereas this reign, like, it's something that you've built up for ages, and a guy like a Rush, a guy like a Swerve, if they beat him,
or even Danny Garcia.
absolutely. If you build these guys up to dethrone Orange Cassidy and you have them dethrone him, then they're big deals on the show. Orange Cassidy, Jane is basically the opening team of this program. So if you get like that prestige of opening up like multiple Dynamites, of having defense after defense, these long TV matches, that can really benefit your career, whereas John Moxley doesn't really need it. Overall, I'm quite conflicted, but I'd say someone else should dethrone Orange Cassidy.
I agree.
We move on now.
I think
Okay.
if it's not Mox, I would enjoy for it to be Swerve in a rematch. But I kind of don't want it to be a rematch when he gets defeated. Because then it's like...
It should be Daniel Garcia.
That'd be cool.
See that dance every week.
Imagine title celebration just...
Yeah.
We move on to Callis and Jericho's promo. Callis and Jericho are backstage. They're having a promo with, I believe, Renee Paquette. And Jericho and Callis, they're talking, and Callis is like, you need to make a choice soon. The people, they're craving it. They're starving for it. And I'm going to give the people a little bit of something. Next week, you get to team up with Takeshita, the future of wrestling. And Jericho, he's all for that. Except, it's going to be against Sammy and Garcia. Jericho, he's a bit conflicted, but you know, Don Callis, he's like trying to convince Jericho he's a rat. Like he's this like weasel of a character. He's like, no, this is good. This is actually good. He's like stirring the pot, and Jericho eventually says, you know what? I'm down for that. Do any of you have any thoughts? I'm going to start with John.
Yeah, I think the Callis and Jericho angle continues to be intriguing. We'll find out on Dynamite 200 exactly which way will they go. Is Jericho going to feud with Takeshita, or will Jericho be joining Takeshita? I liked how Callis kind of put the pressure on Jericho, like, or left certain things out, like, he didn't tell him until the end that they were facing Garcia and Guevara. And then Callis in general is a tremendous heel. That very weird painting of just like him and Jericho, like his shirtless buffs.
Oh
I don't know,
yeah.
I enjoy that, and it's really weird with Bad News Brown and like the sky is like, I guess like a godlike figure, but it's strange. But I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
Did you have anything to note of this segment?
Yeah. He used Jericho's own words against him, which was great. He said, "You said you want them to spread their wings, right?" And that was what really got Jericho to agree to it.
Yeah, like this was a good segment. Like this, I have not been a fan of Jericho's work in the past, like honestly, since his Ring of Honor. No, not 2 years, because I really enjoyed his Ring of Honor World Title run. I think that was great work, in my opinion.
Ring of Jericho, baby.
And like this is the first time I've really been invested in a Jericho story. Mostly because I love the work Callis does. Callis is a great stalker. He's one of the best managers in the industry. For me, it's when it comes to managers, there's Callis and Heyman kind of on the same field. You can kind of put one up, not in history, in like what they're currently doing. Heyman is much better in history. But like for like current day with the work they're currently doing, I kind of put them at like the same field. And everyone else is kind of like below here. Not to say there's like bad managers, there's a lot of good managers, but like the work these two are doing are phenomenal. And like, yeah, this is a good segment overall. I'm gonna move on like immediately to the other Jericho segment. Like, let's just get them both out of the way. Talk about them at the same time, so we don't have to like redirect. I really want to say a line, but at the same time I don't. I'm just gonna ignore it. Okay, JAS confront Jericho. He's having they're being interviewed, JAS, by Renee Paquette, and Jericho walks up and he's like, "Hey, Tay, how's the baby?" And they're like, kind of, what's this called? An intervention? Like they kind of
intervention.
They're staging an intervention for Jericho. Basically, they like bring him to the locker room, and they're like, Anna Jay specifically says a line that's great. We've spent all of this time appreciating you, but you don't appreciate us. So just like Jake Hager, we're not giving you 100%. They all walk off. They all like give some lines. Daddy Magic. This is the line I was going to say. His nipples are cold. They're not hard. He's devastated.
Hold up. I didn't really see what happened with Jake Hager. What happened with Jake Hager?
Jake Hager gave his hat and he was like, "I can't give you 100."
Such a sad moment. The man in his hat.
I really liked when they came in and they like didn't see the painting before they came in, and they were just like, "What is this?" And Jericho was just speechless because he didn't know that Dom was going to put it in his locker room.
Yeah, it's like a man conflicted between his family, like the family he's made. No, between like his friends, I would say. Like, JJS are his friends. Don Callis is his family. Don Callis is known for decades, or like 2 decades, around 2 to 3 decades, around that point. Whereas JAS, other than Jake Hager, he's known for a couple of years, but they've grown so close together. Not even a couple of years, maybe like a year. But they've grown so close together that it's such a hard choice. These guys have been essentially praising him for a year. They've put all of their trust into him. Sammy Guevara in specific has been like, I'm not going to say a son, but like his protege. So it's such a tough choice to make. I do believe that Jericho is going to sign with the Jericho family because they were setting up with the Callis family, my bad. because they were setting up Sammy leaving, so I think Sammy's going to leave eventually. I think Garcia is starting to do more stuff outside of Jericho. We don't really see a lot of 2.0. We don't really see a lot of Hager. I think Anna Jay should transition into. I think Anna Jay should transition into managing Jack Perry. So, like, what's left of the Jericho Appreciation Society? A Sammy Guevara with 1 foot out the door. Daniel Garcia with 1 foot out of the door. 2.0. Anna Jay, who also has 1 foot out of the door if they're doing the Jack Perry stuff, which I really think they should. And Jake Hager. Like, that's not really a main event faction, which is what this faction should be if it exists. So, I say move Jericho on. I say move Hager to Ring of Honor. Move 2.0 to Ring of Honor. Have Garcia do a singles run. Have Sammy Guevara go on like a upper mid-card babyface run. I feel like at this point, fans have accepted him again, like after the baby stuff and after the performance he had at in the the Four Pillars 4-way. Like, I feel like fans are starting to get back on his side, so I feel like Jericho Appreciation Society should come to an end. Thoughts?
Yeah. For me, it was really weird how quickly they turned the Jericho Appreciation Society into like this 2D group to like an entire like family like clique who all have different feelings about this. Like, I feel like before this they were just a bunch of basically assholes, for lack of a better word, that just ran around being assholes.
I kind of disagree, because you built up Daniel Garcia with the whole I'm a sports entertainer, no, I'm a pro wrestler. Sammy Guevara, he has lore, he's been there for a long time, and they've been building a face run for a while.
Besides those two.
Jake Hager has a long history with Chris Jericho, so I believe that he should have this, because like they've known each other for 10 years, that's been acknowledged on TV. They've been talking about the I saved your life thing. But Anna Jay and 2.0, I mean, I feel like you can do this when it's only like 3 people, but I kind of see what you're saying. What about you, John? What are your thoughts overall on this?
Yeah, I would like to see 2.0 get some sort of push, rather it's on Ring of Honor or an AEW, just to see them wrestle more, because I think they're an underrated tag team, and the split could benefit them. As for them acting like a family, I will admit, it is a bit strange. It's not like in the year 2023 we've exactly seen the Jericho Appreciation Society hanging out together all the time. Like, Sammy's mostly been doing his own thing.
That's a good point.
And 2.0 haven't really been seen on television. So they're all kind of scattered. So, but for the split of the faction, I think it's the right thing to do for everybody to go their separate ways.
For the record, we've been robbed of the 2.0 and Daniel Garcia Trios tag title run.
I agree.
Okay.
Maybe we could still get it. 2.0 could start dancing.
We move on to a Blackpool Combat Club promo on this is pretty much, you know, the Eddie Kingston addresses his enemies meme? This is Blackpool Combat Club address their enemies. They address Pac, they address OC, they address Taylor, they address basically the best friends and the Death Triangle. Both the singles competitors of Pac and OC, and the tag teams of Taylor and Trent and Penta and Phoenix. So what did you think of this segment overall? It was quite a short segment, kind of just BCC being like, we're pissed off, we lost blood and guts, and we want blood. Pac screwed us, OC went into our business, we're out for revenge. Any thoughts? I'm going to start with John.
Not much thoughts. I honestly, this just felt like a way to move the show along. I mean, Claudio was talking about. I mean, I felt like Claudio was talking about how he's not necessarily done with Pac, so I'm sure we'll see more of Pac against the Combat Club. Rather, it's Pac versus Mox or Wheeler, or probably Claudio again in some capacity.
Pac versus OC versus Claudio.
And Pac wins in England.
Oh
That'd be
my
cool.
god.
That'd be really cool.
I feel like OC should have an international title match in England though, because it's the UK and it's the international title.
Was that all your thoughts, John?
Yeah. I don't have much thoughts on it.
So this isn't as much thoughts on the segment as it is thoughts on the current state of the Blackpool Combat Club. I feel like vocally they're a little lost without Danielson. They have a whole new vibe now when they're cutting promos with no Danielson. Because Danielson was always like, don't get me wrong, he was a heel, but he wasn't like a Mox heel. He wasn't like, I'm going to cut your head off and then put it in your pants. Like, Mox is just random like that. He'll make threats.
I really like a Mox promo, I can't lie.
Mox promos are good, but they're different from Danielson promos. And Danielson was dominating the group vocally. And now without Danielson, it is completely different.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't really mind it. I think they have a lot more grittier feel to them.
I like it, but I prefer it with Danielson.
Everything's better with Danielson. I can't argue with that. Anyways.
Okay, continue.
We move on to Jungle Boy. Not Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy no more. Jungle Boy Jack.
Jungle Man!
Jungle Man Jack Perry. He comes out and he's holding the FTW Championship. He's like, when I said I wanted to win a championship, I wasn't really thinking of this belt. This belt's not legitimate. I'm the best wrestler to ever hold this belt. He started like calling out Taz, like, it doesn't seem like the hook stuff is done because they had a teaser of it earlier on, but for now they seem to be moving on because we would have Jerry Lynn of all people interrupt him. Jerry Lynn is like, watch your damn mouth. ECW is a great company. Jack Perry started like talking trash about ECW. And from the looks of it, it really feels like they're setting up a Jack Perry Jerry Lynn match, or at the very least, Jack Perry versus someone managed by Jerry Lynn, or I've seen this go around, Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam, who is still actively wrestling, by the way. He's in Noah, I think, or he's had appearances in Noah. So I see Tanner was not a fan of this segment. What did you think of it?
No. I liked the segment. I don't like the fact that they're about to put 60-something-year-old Jerry Lynn against...
Hey. I have to say, if I get the opportunity to review a Jerry Lynn match, I will be honored. I will stand Tony Khan. I don't care how washed he is. I'm a Jerry Lynn stan. I would be all for it. Although, objectively, it is bad.
I have not liked anything that RVD has touched since he turned heel in Impact a couple of years ago. That was the most putrid thing that I've ever watched.
I did not like his Impact run at all. He was not trying.
His Impact run was horrible. You don't got it, basically. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. It's been about 5 years since you had it, bud.
What about you, John? What did you think about this promo?
Yeah, my overall thoughts is I feel like they're stalling till All Out, because with that hook promo before, I do not think they're putting it to the side. It seems like with the trains, to me that kind of feels like it might be All Out, that they might do some of kind of hardcore rules match between Hook and Jack Perry. But until then, they kind of have to stall. I was hoping they were going to bring Taz into the feud. They bring Jerry Lynn. I don't know how I feel about a match. I mean, I don't know how good that would be. Maybe it's just like Jungle Boy beats him down and then Hook and then Taz. I don't know exactly. This segment, it felt weird. I don't know. Like the whole thing. And it's not like the crowd in Albany, which I'm not the biggest fan of the crowd tonight. But, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they're going to like overly pop for Jerry Lynn.
Hey?
But
they didn't pop for Jerry Lynn. They popped for Jungle Jack, though. Or Jack Perry.
I would like, just very quickly, the shirt he was wearing down to the ring, I beat Hook. I will be copying that as soon as I have the money to.
Yeah, and he was wearing the whole Hook outfit too.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
He looked, yeah, he's in great shape. Definitely better shape than me.
He was missing the hoodie.
That goes without saying that. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird segment. I don't know how I feel about a Jerry Lynn Jack Perry match. I mean, honestly, I kind of don't want to see it. I don't know. I feel like maybe Jerry Lynn manages somebody or something. I don't know. But yeah, I guess it moved things along. You gotta stall to All Out.
Like, jokes aside, while like it would be pretty cool to podcast a Jerry Lynn match, it's objectively bad. I don't think that's the direction they're going, and honestly, again, as cool as it would be to review a Jerry Lynn match, they should not go that route. It would be a bad idea. He's
Ric
like
Flair's
60.
retirement match 2.0.
Maybe they could throw it on Rampage.
No, maybe they could throw it in the trash.
Who would you have Jerry Lynn manage if you were to manage anyone? Like, who do you think fits Jerry Lynn's style? Thinking. Like, I can't really think of like anyone like other than Rob Van Dam. Oh, you have someone?
Danny Garcia.
That does not fit at all. What are you talking about?
No, didn't he wrestle a little bit in the pure division when ROH first started up, Jerry Lynn?
Yeah, but like his whole thing is I'm a sports entertainer.
JAS is ending, dog. He's no longer gonna be a sports entertainer.
No,
he's gonna be a pure wrestler again.
It's gonna take a while, though.
Charismatic to have a manager.
It won't take that long.
Not by the time this feud ends is gonna be over. Like this feud's only gonna take a few weeks.
Wait, Cosk, what if it's Jake Hager?
No, here's the thing.
No.
We could have him attack Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn just like die off for a couple months until Danny Garcia is no longer a sports entertainer, and then he comes back and he's like, "I'm a pro wrestler." Woohoo!
That sounds overcomplicated.
No, you're picking the wrong member from the JS. It could be Jake Hager. Jungle Boy could host a funeral for Hager's hat. This could be a whole segment. You have the coffin and everything, and then Jerry Lynn manages him, and then Jerry Lynn puts on like a new hat, and they become like the Hat Friends or whatever.
This podcast is falling off the rails. I'm gonna bring it back.
And then wait, hold on.
Okay.
I have a serious suggestion. Maybe they can bring up Hot Sauce Tracy Williams from Ring of Honor and have them do a nice match.
I like that. I love hot sauce, but I like that.
We move on to the highlight of the show. Britt Baker promo. That's all the notes I wrote of this. To be fair, I joke. Britt Baker's a pretty decent promo. She's a good promo. So she did a good job here, but like it was...
She's a good wrestler. She's a good wrestler. I don't know about her promos, but she's a good wrestler.
I prefer her promos to her wrestling, to be honest. Like, she got a pretty decent promo here. She was just like kind of building up the match with Taya. She was like, hey, I have respect for you. I was confused why you called me out.
The build to this Taya match was quite strange. On quick recap of Saturday, Taya's like, well, I've lost recently, and Britt lost recently, but we both won our last match. So how about we face each other? You know what I mean?
Tony Khan with his statistics. That's how you should book wrestling. Main event of WrestleMania. Hey Roman, you lost 2 of your matches, but I've won 5 of mine.
Oh my god.
Let's book wrestling on statistics. Let's go.
Overall, I'm gonna give this segment a out of 10.
Okay. We move on to Pac in his long-time grudge match against the man who forgot him at the theme park, Gravity.
Forgot about this.
You forgot about this? The man who
Yes,
Gravity forgot?
No, it was a good match too. I don't know why I forgot about it.
Pac was...
Like, don't get me wrong.
You forgot it, just like Gravity forgot about Pac.
It's in team. So... While you think of your thoughts, like they start to bubble up in your head again, I'm going to move on to John. John, what did you think about Pac versus Gravity? This long-time rivalry.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I enjoyed the match. I feel like they didn't have the time to just like cook and go all out. That wasn't really what it was meant to be. It was more of a pack showcase match because I mean, Gravity on the ROH pay per view Friday against Commander just did really well. I like his like moon gimmick where he kind of walks slow for a bit. I just think he's kind of unique, and then kind of the springboard, the way he maneuvers around the ropes. But I enjoyed seeing Gravity on Dynamite and momentum win for Pac.
Gravity is a pretty good luchador. I mean, like AEW are kind of going the WCW route of like just bringing in these random luchadors, letting them cook. Pretty good match overall. This match is essentially booked as Tony Khan being like, "Hey, I know Twitter, haha." But I don't mind seeing Gravity on screen. I think he can get signed eventually. Like maybe push him in a tag team as Commander or something like that. AEW like to put their luchadors together.
Or one thing I think Gravity. Maybe he could be the guy to beat heel Samoa Joe on Ring of Honor, finally dethrone him for the ROH TV title. I mean, if you want to make him a star, Bandito's brother. But it depends.
Anyways, ignore that face. That's my reaction to that information. But
I like
the match was good. See, I was clueless on the fact that this wasn't an actual feud from years ago until I realized, oh, his name's just Gravity. There's no history here.
Yeah.
Like that's how like built up they talked about this. They spoke as if this was like something from Dragon Gate.
And Pac seems like super heated about it too, which is really funny because he's like in this super serious feud, right? Like with the Blackpool Combat Club, like this feud that's going to involve blood, going to involve chaos and heat. Yeah.
A John Moxley feud involving blood?
Bro, I can already see it now. Moxley's like freshly squeezed. Well, I'm gonna freshly squeeze blood out of like your carcass.
No.
Keeping you alive or something.
Grabs the fork.
Ugh.
Okay, does anyone have like any final thoughts on this? No?
Good
Overall?
match.
I like Gravity.
Good showcase match for both men, I would say. Although
Yeah,
more for Pac, yeah, but like good TV time for Gravity. We move on to a set of promos. Like they both kind of combine with each other, but I'm going to talk about them in order, of course, in the order they happened. We start off with an MJF Adam Cole promo. This was from last week, so was the other one we're going to talk about later. MJF and Cole, they're talking, they're doing their thing, and the most interesting thing about this segment, other than Adam Cole apologizing, was MJF offered a title shot to Adam Cole. Which was crazy to me. That was like really, really shocking. I did not expect that, yeah?
You're gonna say that's the most interesting thing?
I would say so, because
besides them literally setting up a Roddy versus MJF match?
I think MJF... That's actually a good point too. I'm going to move on to that now. Roderick Strong would come out, push MJF. So Cole would like kind of play the peacemaker between them, tell MJF to go on a walk, and then be like, Roddy, you're controlling. I just want to have friends, man. I can't just be friends with you and the Undisputed Era, boys. What the hell? He didn't say that, but like, that was kind of the gist. Like, he was kind of like seeing Roderick Strong as being controlling and manipulative. Not manipulative, but like, just like controlling him, controlling his friends. Whereas in reality, Roderick Strong is like, bro, this guy has betrayed everyone in his life. He betrayed William Regal. But Adam Cole, he's drinking the copium. He's all on the MJF board, all on the MJF train.
Like, Cole tries to walk off, and Roddy grabs his hand, and Cole hits an MJF and turns around and goes, "Boundaries, Roddy!" That was like, I instantly thought about how this was how MJF and Cole started to be friends. Roddy and Cole are about to not be friends. Complete opposites here.
So what do you think is the future of this feud between MJF and Cole, potential feuds, or just the story in general? Where do you think the direction is? I'm going to start off with John.
The direction, I hope they win the tag belts. I do not think they will win the tag belts. I would love to see it, even if it's for hold them it for a short while. As for where it's going, I think they're gonna stay friends past Collision because I think that Adam Cole or MJF giving the title match to Adam Cole all in, and MJF can do a whole spiel about, oh, I'm gonna fight fair, and then the whole intrigue and if it's gonna happen or not. And Roderick Strong, I don't know why I find Roddy really funny in these segments. He's just, I don't know why he's not the best in terms of acting.
The neck brace.
And then he's wearing the neck brace, and then he didn't even get beat down by Samoa Joe that bad. I mean, he got like power slammed on a chair, but I mean, like we just had blood and guts.
And he's getting physical with the neck brace on.
Exactly.
But what?
I think if I had to make a prediction, I feel like maybe Roddy screws MJF and Cole out of the titles on Saturday.
Unintentionally.
I was going there, but not on Saturday. I honestly think they're going to win the belt on Saturday.
I do not.
Hopefully,
I would love to see it, and honestly, it might be me being a little bit delusional because I'm scared that if I speak it, it's going to come into existence, that they may potentially not win. It'd be great to see those belts on them. MJF as double champ would be gold.
That's right.
But I think when the rematch eventually does happen, because it's going to happen, no doubt about that. When we get Cole versus MJF 2. Cole versus MJF 2, I think we see Roddy screw Cole out of the world title.
Okay, Finch Russo.
No,
well,
because like Cole was pissed at him, and like we can go the obvious route of like, Roddy, thank you for helping me. I knew he was a douchebag all along. I just realized it. Or we could just go, Roddy is so obsessed with getting Cole out of the friendship that he cost himself Cole.
So you're not saying he caused him to like turn on him and like become MJF's friend? It's like unintentional.
Not become MJF's friend. Not even become MJF's friend. Like MJF would have cheated in this match because MJF's going to cheat in the match. No doubt about it. Like Cole would be done with MJF, but he would still turn on.
Well, speaking of rematches, Adam Cole and MJF can win the tag titles, and then at Wembley Stadium, Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia versus MJF and Adam Cole, the world's biggest dance-off ever, 80,000 strong. Cosk can join in on the action live in Wembley.
Okay, to bring this podcast back to reality, here's what I think is going to happen. I think FTR are going to win. I'm like confident they're going to win because while yes, it would be cool for MJF and Adam Cole to win this, that's the world title scene. They're not going. I don't think AEW, considering how much they value the tag titles, are going to be like, hey, you guys are going to be double champs, especially when they're going to 2 different pay-per-views.
I think the thing here is FTR's brand is in the garbage.
I disagree. Are you kidding me? They just had like 2 amazing matches in a row. They had the match with Jay White and Juice Robinson, which went an hour long.
Okay, yes, good matches, but overall, the reign's been pretty stout, and they feel like a set piece in this feud with Cole and MJF. Like the way they're setting this up, they haven't really made it like FTR's like a big part in this. They just made it, oh, you happen to be the champs.
I agree with that.
Like you just so happen to be the champs.
But
which makes me think that they're about to lose it to Cole and MJF because they're better than you, baby.
But FTR have been doing their own thing on like Collision. This is not like the only thing they've been doing. They've been doing work with Jay White. They've been like major parts of Collision. They're like one of the A focuses of Collision, and I don't think they're gonna take those titles off them.
I think if they do take the titles off them, we could see CMFTR potentially become trios champs.
I think that's Root and Andrade and Realistico.
I don't think they win it. I don't think they win.
I could see it. I think overall, here's my thought. When it comes to, they set up a match on Friday between multiple tag teams. I don't really like this, but here's what I think they're gonna do. I think FTR are gonna win because I think AEW are going to go for the MJF versus Adam Cole at Allin. or All Out. Well, I think All In would be the better option considering biggest crowd, biggest story. And I also think, well, I know people aren't going to like this. Looking at the people set up for, just looking at the teams in that number one contendership match on Rampage, it's either going to be the Hardys, which people would not really like, or be Big Bull and Brian Cage. Which I think Big Bull and Brian Cage would work really well with FTR. Like, it would be like a real southern traditional match. Like these two monsters versus these baby faces fighting underneath the working town boys.
You know, I thought they were gonna do Aussie Open versus FTR. On the,
That'd be cool. That probably will happen eventually.
hopefully.
Are we clear on the fact that Cole's not winning the world title? Like,
I could see it.
because I know you
I
were
don't think-
Team Cole.
I don't think Cole's gonna win the world title in the second match. If MJF's still champion by the time they do a third match later down the line, maybe. But not now, not at all in.
My only thing kind of holding me back, because I think there's a story to dethrone MJF. Like, this is like a super over story. I feel if you do the turn rise, Adam Cole will have the momentum. But I think it would be a wasted opportunity not to do the 2024 thing.
And Cole as a face is good, but Cole as a face champion may not be as good.
May is the key word. Anyways, we're going... I think we have to move on now because we are spending too much time on this small promo.
We can do like a whole show just based off
This
where the talk
one team. Based off MJF and Cole, we could do a whole video.
We move on to an FTR promo next. An FTR promo, it was on Cole and MJF. It was from last week again. And FTR basically like, hey, Adam, we have no problems with you. We were manipulated by MJF too. But MJF, we despise you. They kind of did a bit too much Cornette-esque lines where they were like, you're making a mockery of this business and stuff like that, but which I wasn't a fan of. But for the audience who likes it, they like it. Like, I get it. Like, the Cornette fans are gonna love that. But I don't know. This was a fine promo. Nothing crazy in my opinion. They're good promos. The material they had to work on was decent, but like nothing groundbreaking in my opinion. Do you guys have any different thoughts?
Well, okay, so just overall I know we talked about it a lot, but going back to the last promo, I liked when I just enjoyed when MJF made fun of Dax Harwood's promo style, because if you've ever seen a Dax Harwood promo, they're all pretty similar. He just brings up about his his family and all that stuff, which is fine, but I just thought that was a good mock.
Yeah, and then it was funny how like Dax had pretended she didn't see the promo, and he was like,
Yeah.
I swear to God, if you brought up something about my daughter or my wife, I'm gonna rip your head.
Anyways, any final thoughts or do we move on? Move on?
Let's move on.
Decent promo.
We move on to Swerve versus Darby Allin. Hell of a match here. Is that you trying to say banger?
Banger after banger after banger.
These two have fantastic chemistry. I'm going to give the floor to Tanner here. What do you think about this match?
I'm not even a Darby guy.
I know.
Like, if you've watched the previous videos, especially that next world champion video, I've discussed this thoroughly. I do not like Darby Allin. But something that I do like about Darby Allin is his insane, crazy athleticism. And that was on showcase this entire match. And Swerve is just Swerve. I mean, like, what else is there to say? This was a banger.
Nice. Keeping it short and sweet. John, I move on to you. What did you think of this match?
We got Darby Allin, who's a very bad influence on Sting. Sting should not be doing the spots that he's been doing. He's jumping off balconies, ladders. Sting, but
This is dangerous.
yeah, and Darby's clearly a bad influence. But Darby Allin is crazy. There's been 199 episodes of Dynamite, and Darby just, I swear, I don't know how he's not like brutally injured at this point. Like that Death Valley driver on the apron just nasty. My favorite spot of the match was when Darby does his dive through the middle rope, which he honestly, in my opinion, he has the best dive in the middle. He has the best dive in all of wrestling. With I don't know, I like Ray Phoenix's in there too, but his dive through the middle rope and then Swerve just nails him with a knee strike. Like the timing and Darby's just momentum as well, just made it for like an epic collision, and I don't mean the one on Saturday. And then as for the angle at the end, AR Fox or a mysterious man in a hoodie.
I wonder.
With the exact same gear as AR Fox.
Yeah. No, it was revealed to be AR Fox, but at the time, Giovanni questioned it. Who is this man in the hoodie?
Who could this be? Meanwhile, he has the exact same gear that we saw about 45 minutes ago in the opening match.
Could it be?
Who got yelled at by Darby? I wonder.
And then Nana's holding on to Nick Wayne, which I was actually surprised Nick Wayne did not break free. Nana's somehow holding on to him. And Swerve wins, and AR Fox joins the Mogul Embassy.
All right. Can I get my shit off here?
I like it.
So, for one, I have a few points about this match. Match of the night, in my opinion. These two have incredible chemistry. Like, you've already, like, gone, like, through, like, moves of the match. I'm not really going to go through time. I'm more going to go through Nick Wayne, specifically. Because I was thinking while watching this match, they're booking Nick Wayne really well to start off, in the sense that he is, like, he did lose, but, like, as an 18-year-old, to be there and to be working with Swerve Strickland and Darby Allin, two guys that he not only has great chemistry with, but have momentum and are over, I think that's great. Should he have won last week? In my opinion, no, I don't think so. I was all for Swerve winning. I would have been actually pretty upset if Nick Wayne won, because I think the story of Nick Wayne should be he's new to the big leagues. He has to have time to like readjust to it. So I think having him on screen without having him get like these big kind of unrealistic wins as this new kid, I think that's the right booking for him. I think I used the wrong word there, great booking, because like great booking would be actually winning. But I think this is the right place for him at this moment. Keeping him on TV after such a long time of preparing him, whereas and putting him with names with momentum, names he has chemistry with, while at the same time not like burying him at the same time, because he's had like a competitive match with Swerve and he was one of the final members of the Rampage Royale. So overall, I think this is good for Nick Wayne. Yeah.
See, the thing with Nick Wayne is it's very hard to book him, seeing as he's an 18-year-old who's like new to AEW and new to some people, but many people know him for getting over on the indies and winning belts and all of that. Coming in here and losing to Swerve was okay, but getting held back by Nana.
That I did not like. That I did not like at all.
There are some moments where he's been made to be super not credible, and like, if he's not credible, how did he get this contract at 17 years old? What?
I do think that he should get a win on like a Rampage or something like that. Like just like a few wins to like build himself
how
up.
would that help his momentum?
Yeah, we need a win over like. Don't get me wrong, it needs to be built up, but I think he should beat Swerve eventually.
Eventually, I agree, but like to me, his story should be he is great against like kind of the underneath guys, but like he should not be beating the Swerves. He should not be like being the final member of the Royal Rampage. Like I don't think winning equals momentum.
And he should be kept away from any belts for a while.
I agree. I think maybe like a title shot would be okay, like a title shot against OC or something, but he should not win.
No, I think the best thing for him is you can have Christian Cage just like prowl on him.
He can't face Luchasaurus.
Yeah, no, not Luchasaurus, but that whole angle is weird. I don't know. I feel like they should just put the belt on Christian officially.
It'd be funny if they like had Christian turn face on Luchasaurus, and then we get to the fucking match, and it's just the Polka Doom and Christian Cage as your new TNT champion.
anyways, like, I'm gonna go back to the match. These two, Swerve and Darby, it's like the story that will never end, but in a good way. It's like Batman and Joker. It's like, I'm gonna think of
Cena and Orton.
yeah, like these two rivals which will never stop fighting, no matter where they are in their careers. Like, yeah,
And Taker.
yeah.
Oh yeah, so this is week 2 of the podcast. I just wanted to note, where is Keith Lee versus Swerve Strickland? Will this match ever happen? I will bring it up every week.
No.
I will not forget.
It will not happen.
Till the end of this
Short
podcast,
answer.
I will bring it up.
I think
We'll get it on a Rampage.
Maybe.
I think that's been one of AEW's biggest booking errors so far. The way they've handled Keith Lee has been awful in my opinion.
Brutal. No, that tag team broke up in November. What are they doing?
I digress though, because this podcast is already going on too long, so we should keep the boat moving. If you want to see me book Keith Lee with Andrea, check the first episode of Rescue Line. So, there's a teaser.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. We move on next to... Well, actually, before we move on, I forgot this. I just want to say, I am so happy for AR Fox. Like, the reason... I think some of you noticed, I'm being really positive about this Dynamite. Like incredibly positive. And the reason I am is because this Dynamite lets me in a good mood. Because AR Fox has finally got this push. I've been an advocate for months that AR Fox should be getting a spotlight. Like, I got it. I wasn't like fuming, how dare you, Tony Khan. I got it. He wasn't a big name. He was like an indie guy who they kind of gave a contract. But like, I felt he was so talented. He deserved a spot. Like, he deserved a story. He had a few showcase matches, but like a proper story. And this is a story he can sink his teeth into. He's working with Darby Allin, who, whether you like him or not, I would argue one of the top stars of this company. Like, not like a main event guy, but like an upper mid-card guy who can kind of go into that main event when necessary. And then you have Swerve, who they're building up like a solid upper mid-card heel. Nick Wayne, who there's a lot of eyes on at the moment, whether he's booked right or wrong, and that's your opinion. Like, Brian Cage, Big Bill, like, there's a lot of guys in this who, like, are getting this TV time, who, you know, AR Fox aligning with these people, feuding with Darby and Nick, this could be really, really big for AR Fox. You can get, like, regular TV time from this. My only concern is that they're probably going to end this on, like, a Rampage match or something like that. I really hope that's not the case. You have Dynamite, you have Collision. At this point, put it on one of those
Ring
shows.
of Honor. Ring of Honor.
Maybe I wouldn't say Ring of Honor. I think this should be on a Dynamite.
Put it on a pay-per-view, damn it.
I disagree.
Maybe
with
an
that.
ROH paper.
Our number one ROH stand.
But one quick thing is, I will say, I feel like AR Fox joining the Mogul Embassy is the right move. I feel like he fits the faction. I can just imagine him standing next to Cage and Toa and Khan and, you know, Swerve standing in the front, of course. But yeah, I feel like he fits as kind of like the high flyer in the ranks with Swerve as leader, and then he's kind of like
the you make sense, but in all honesty, what are you doing here, guy? Because his style is completely different from everyone else, but he fits. Yeah. That's the weird part.
He fits because of his history with Swerve, in my opinion. He has a massive history with Swerve that they've acknowledged on TV in the past, so I feel like, why not?
Yeah.
So overall, thumbs up from me. I'm not going to do the actual thumbs up because my arms are tired.
Out of 10.
We move on to Taya versus Britt Baker. This was...
Man.
No disrespect to either of these women. Like, I am known as a big Taya fan. Like, I was a big fan of her work in Impact. And Britt Baker, at points I've been a fan. At the moment, I'm currently on a down period of my fandom of Britt Baker. Like, I haven't really been invested in her work for a while. This felt like a bit of a nothing match. They built it up a bit, but...
Yeah.
I don't know, like... I expected, like, something to kind of happen at the end. Like maybe... I saw, like, people throwing it around there that she should join the Outcast. Taya should join the Outcast, which I was like... You know, I don't know, but, like, I think it would be pretty cool. She's ex-WWE, which I forgot about until someone mentioned it to me. But, overall, not so big fan of this match, but hey, they're getting Britt Baker wins. That's cool, I guess. Maybe they're building her up to something. What do you think, John?
Yeah, no, this match, I think some of it lacked from storyline heat and just meaning what this means for the women's division. I mean, I guess on the positives, I will say the palm strikes. I thought I liked the palm strikes that especially Ty was pulling or doing. I feel like that was a good strike. Britt did the Panama Sunrise, but she's done before. I don't know, especially since Adam Cole's doing it. There was a spot in the match that was particularly messy where like I feel like Ty was going for the road to Valhalla, but Britt just kind of fell. It was a bit awkward.
And then nothing happened.
Yeah, and I just wonder like why is this match happening? Where is the AEW Women's Champion? Toni Storm was not on Collision. She wasn't on. I don't believe she was on Dynamite tonight. I don't know what they're doing. If I had to go from experience based off Tony Khan's booking, I feel like he's just stalling till Jamie Hayter. Which I mean, I hate that he does that. Even though like Jamie coming back will be epic, but I feel like Tony Khan, one of his booking faults is that he just if he wants something to happen, he will stall. Like I feel like his plan was always for Chris Statlander to win the TBS championship, but since she was injured, I feel like he just kind of stalled till she came back, and Jade was kind of. I mean, she had a defense here or there, but was kind of floundering even as champ.
Before Tanner continues, I'm going to just say something real quick. To me, it feels like they're building up a Britt Baker versus Toni Storm match because she's had 2 wins in a row now. She had the win against the Jobber last week. She had the win here against Taya. Like, they're building her up for something, surely. But at the same time, I don't think fans would be into that. Like, especially if it happens at All In or All Out, I would not be into it at all. If it happens at like a random TV show, then I'd be okay with it. And even if that is the case, like if they're building up to a TV show, that's fair enough. Tell people they're doing it. Have Britt Baker cut promos like, Toni Storm, I haven't forgotten about what you did to Jamie Hayter. There's no story here. It's just random matches every single week where Britt Baker beats some random person where she has either no story or little story. It's ridiculous. Oh, do you have any thoughts?
So, first of all, I want to say this match was incredibly underwhelming. We know that these two have the capability of putting on a banger and have done so in the past with other people, and hell, you'd probably expect them to with each other. But let's not talk about what didn't happen, and let's talk about what should happen. Now, Cosk pointed this out, that the issue with Britt Baker right now is that she's not, like, she's just there. And that is because of Jamie Hayter, because she's injured. But another issue with that whole booking is how quickly it went from, Britt Baker was in charge of Jamie Hayter, to them being equals for like 2 seconds, to then Jamie Hayter basically being in charge of Britt Baker. And with them doing that and then Jamie getting injured, Britt was just there. And they didn't do anything with her. And they're stalled, like you said.
Any final thoughts overall? Okay, never mind. Continue.
Or what's Saraya going to do at All In?
I have no clue.
Be British.
Yeah, I'm going to finish this real quick. I think that after the whole Outcast thing is wrapped up, we should most definitely see a Britt Baker heel turn, which hell should have happened last year. Britt Baker is getting stale as a face. That's the truth of it.
I half agree and half disagree because I think
and like her finisher is such a heel finisher that it's like weird seeing her do it as a face. Like that's a side note. Sorry for interrupting you, but oh my god.
It's fine. I half agree and I half disagree because I agree for Britt Baker. I think that would be best for Britt Baker, and I half disagree because I have been an advocate for Athena getting a call up and getting a main event push to face the women's champion, who I think should be Jamie Hayter if she recovers from her injury, for a very long time. I think Athena versus Jamie Hayter would be the arguably the best match in AEW's women's division's history. If you've seen Athena's work, have you seen Athena's work in Ring of Honor?
Yes, but like we have Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker sitting there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Would be better.
No, I don't know. Athena, if you saw that Athena Willow match, that was amazing.
Athena has been doing the best work of her career. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the business right now. Like her reign, she's had the best women's title reign of any promotion in North America. Like her,
yeah, easily. I mean, after she drops the ROH belt, I think she could easily win the AEW belt. But like, that's a story for another day.
Any final thoughts overall, or do you want to move on to the main event?
Britt Baker versus Kayla Sparks 2. When is it happening?
Let's go.
Maybe on Rampage.
Underwhelming match, but some good speculation coming from it.
We move on to the main event of the program. The Lucha Brothers, which, just a quick side note, hell yeah, my boy Pentagon getting that main event time slot.
Ray Phoenix is better.
Disagree.
That's a topic for another day.
I love both of them. I'm not gonna disagree. Like both of them are great. Versus Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta of the Best Friends. Versus Claudio and John Moxley of the Blackpool Combat Club. This match starts off with Moxley and Claudio not even in the ring. Like it's the other teams just kind of fighting within themselves. Not within themselves. Like they're fighting against each other while Moxley's doing his like long entrance, wild thing. Like match is like really chaotic at the beginning, then kind of settles down to do the tags, which to be honest I don't really like the tags because they just like make it really confusing. I have never liked the tags in these like 4-way or 3-way tag matches.
Tornado.
I agree absolutely. Like these matches should be tornado. They always break down anyway, so like why restrict yourself to these rules when the referee. This match would not be entertaining if they went to the rules, so they have to break the rules. So if you have to break the rules, don't have the rule be there.
Let me make this quick. It is possible to have an entertaining multi-man tag match following the rules. Like, I'm not sure if you remember this, but about 7 years back, we had the New Day, who were champs at the time, versus the Usos, versus 2010 players, versus, I think, the Lucha Dragons? That was entertaining. It's possible. It's hard, but it's possible.
Pulling up a Titus O'Neil match to prove me wrong. Come on. What are you doing? Anyways,
That's some ridiculous team names, by the way. Like, you wouldn't think it would be a good match on paper, but that was a banger.
Allegedly.
I think I remember that match, which is crazy.
It was at SummerSlam 2015.
Yeah. The one with John Stewart getting involved in Cena Rollins.
Shout out there.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that was so stupid. Oh my god. And nothing ever came of it.
Anyways.
He was just like, I don't like you.
That was very
coming
weird,
next to the channel, SummerSlam 2015 review.
That might be a direct quote, by the way.
So, what do you guys think overall of this match? I'm going to start off with John. Like, it was a very chaotic match. It kind of settled down and then went back to chaos.
Yeah, no, I liked it. Not as much as Swerve and Darby or even AR Fox and Orange Cassidy. It was these AEW multi-man tag matches are fun, but they're, chaotic. I felt like the 4-way on Ring of Honor on the ROH pay-per-view was better with the Kingdom, Aussie Open, Best Friends, Lucha Brothers. Oi. But and then I love me some Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. But as for the match, Ray Phoenix is always one of my favorites to watch in all of wrestling. His springboard arm drag onto Claudio. I remember it reminded me of the match they had in Dynamite a couple months ago. But yeah, chaotic match. What's it called? Lucha Brothers end up getting the win. I don't have much to say about it.
This match really cemented the Orange Cassidy Blackpool Combat Club direction, most likely a Mox match. Like, at the beginning, I wasn't really sure if they're doing the Mox OC thing. And they have so many referees going on, but like, Pac's doing the thing with Claudio, they're having Mox and OC specifically target each other. They're doing the match. I'm like confident they're doing the match. Like the way this, at least the way this show was structured, it really seems like they're doing the match between them.
It was structured around two things.
Yeah.
And that was AR Fox and Mox and OC.
This show in general, yeah. I was still talking about the match. It's like, yo, when did AR Fox show up in this match?
No, the show in general.
I would agree. Which shout out to AR Fox, he deserves it. He's been busting it on the indies for years. Busting his ass.
How did Bro not get signed before this?
And then he was hustling against Shane Taylor on Friday, too, on the pre-show. Considering it's a pre-show match, the crowd was really into it.
Yeah. The match itself, I wasn't a fan of it. I'm not gonna lie. Chaotic at the beginning. The bell randomly rang. There were some good little spots. Lucha Brothers kind of needed this one, coming off losing their ROH belts on their first defense? Or
I was
it
surprised they won.
I think they had a defense against Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, and then they also had a defense against Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall.
Okay, so third defense they lose. It was like a 2-month reign.
Yeah. And then they barely showed up on ROH either. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like whatever, kind of deserved. But the other two teams were both coming off of. Okay, I get that the Blackpool Combat Club lost blood and guts, but more recently, Claudio won in the main event of the ROH show.
Well, semi.
Wait, what went on after that?
Athena and Willow, the main event.
Really?
It's a big deal. I think it was the first time the women ever main event in Ring of Honor.
Most definitely.
Fantastic.
And then the first time women main evented a Tony Khan book pay-per-view as well.
Yeah. So that Claudio won that semi main event. OC had won his match earlier in the night. So both factions were coming off wins. And then the Lucha Bros were in the middle of it, just dropped their belts. They needed the win more than both of them. It works because they're involved in the feud, but they're like the least involved team in the feud.
Yeah, like
it's a 3-way feud. Let's be honest.
Wait, dude, real quick. Imagine Penta and Moxley in some sort of death match. Like I saw some photos from Penta versus QT and AAA. I bet Penta and Moxley would just go wild in terms of blood.
They would both die of blood loss. That's why they haven't booked that.
Anyways, like overall, I think you guys are bringing up good points. Like this match, like it was a good match for what it was, but it shouldn't have main evented at Dynamite, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I think Darby Swerve. You were going to say that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I think we're all in agreement. Darby Swerve would have been a better main event. I think.
Don't get me wrong, it would have been cool to see the International title main event, but for what Darby versus Swerve had happened, it needed to main event over that.
It would have had a good show synergy with the AR Fox angle opening and closing the show.
Would have been huge for AR Fox too. Like, this show was huge for him anyways, but like Star Wars has been huge to main event the show. If Jake Hager can do it, AR Fox can do it.
A man that is sad.
So overall, decent match. Shouldn't have main evented. Pretty good stuff, but a bit disappointing. Like, I was just really happy for the Lucha Brothers overall. Lucha Brothers, one of my favorite teams in modern wrestling, so I was happy they got the win, but like, I can't lie, I'm not gonna pretend this was like a great match. Like, I was kind of zoned out during it because like, it was decent, but nothing special really. Just like,
honestly, I get more entertainment from watching the Danny Garcia dance compilations than I did that.
Me too. Especially
no
with
offense
the Yoshi
no
theme
offense
song.
to the match. Those compilations are quite entertaining. But the match was not all that whatsoever. I mean, like, there we go.
That was a horrible dance. My eyes were like open during getting everything. we move on to the main event segment, which we don't really have to talk about much. Like, I'm just going to mention it. Like, there was, like, some chaos at the end. Everyone was brawling with each other. A bit too much chaos, in my opinion. Like,
everybody and their mothers were fighting, and the commentary team could not keep up. Keep up.
yeah, man. Like, overall, I have to say, this was a pretty decent episode of Dynamite. Like, nothing crazy.
Hold up. Did Pac not come out and, like, help the Lucha Brothers in this fight? I'm just now realizing this.
He was too busy thinking about the traumatic events with Gravity.
Wait,
Like,
real
Everybody
quick.
helped
Another
the
thing.
faction, and then Pac was just sitting backstage.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Pac was not supposed to come back this soon. I guess is my guess. But another thing to bring up with Pac, I don't know why, but like his entrance theme hit, and he came out extremely late, but there was no explanation. Like I feel like Pac legit got lost backstage. Came out a couple seconds later. It was very strange.
He forgot where he was going, like Gravity forgot him.
Anyways, overall, pretty good show. Nothing special, too special. It was like quite a filler show. It was like a filler episode between Blood and Guts and D200 episode, so like nothing crazy. It was a really good showcase show for AR Fox. Pretty interesting stuff being set up, but like a lot of filler on the show, which kind of dragged it down a bit. Like overall, I'd have to give it 6.5 out of 10 maybe. What about you guys?
If I had to rate it, I think I would give it a out of 10. No, but seriously, I'd give it like a solid. Okay. Main event, 5. AR Fox, 10. The rest of the show, a solid like 6.5. I like that.
You, John?
Oh man, 6.5 is low. I feel like 6.5 is like
It's
an
above
Impact
average.
show. Like,
Were we watching the same show?
no, I'm not saying I'd go much higher. I might generously give it a 7, maybe a 6.9.
6.6 is still above
6.5.
average.
Maybe
6.5
maybe like
being generous.
I'm gonna go 6.825.
Okay.
For the record, I'm clipping that cost.
Clipping what?
I think it's above average.
Okay. I've been... Deep breath. I've been Cosk. I've been joined by Tanner and Y2. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next week for the AEW Dynamite review.